What's up to Lion Talk Live? We love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Duke Crew. This is Ball Hawk Ifeatu Melifonwu of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your momentary host, Dan O'Damas, and I am here to foretell in next week's NFL draft, the Detroit Lions will make not just one, but two, but three trades that will make a big impact on the team, not just in the upcoming season, but in the many seasons to come. I think all Lions fans, as I look into the basketball of fate, will be very joyous over the trades. But maybe we'll not recognize all the names. We will have to wait and see if all-wise, all-knowing, and all-powerful Dan O'Damas is correct once again. Mwah! Well, I want to thank greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am now your host, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank Dan O'Damas for making a very brief, quick introduction here. Yes, you could probably tell from the thumbnail for today's episode of Lions Talk Live. Hey, it is the Saturday before the NFL draft, and you're going to have all sorts of speculation. Yesterday, we had some stuff coming out of Vegas talking about, hey, what the Lions are going to do, what the betting odds are, all that kind of stuff. So I promised you guys over the weekend here I'd have the final Lions Talk Live mock draft, the 3.0. We try to put some of that new information into it. We try to be as Brad Holmes-esque as possible. And yes, we made some trades. So as you probably thought that would happen based on the headline. We're going to get in all of that. We're going to get into 5 headlines now. We're going to have to see what you guys have to say about some of these guys. Some of these guys, I try to just use the Lions board as much as possible, how things would fall left, right, and the other thing. The other thing I'll say is, and we talked about it a little bit this week, I think there's a lot more parity in this draft than probably any draft I can really remember in the last, 5 years. I think you get past the first 5 real, no doubt home run guys. After that, man, there's a whole lot of parity between pick, I'll say 7 and pick 70. There's not a whole lot of difference between most of the players. And I think that's going to be part of why Brad Holmes does some of the things he does, or whatever you want to say. And we'll dive into that during the show today. Real quick, before we get to that, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so, making that march for 13,600 subs. We're roughly 50-some subs away from it. So if you can help out with that, that would be great. Also, if you have a half second of time while you're watching the show, either live or on repeat or the replay, whatever you want to say, go ahead reach down. Doesn't cost you a dime. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit the like button. Hit all the buttons. As you guys know, it helps the channel out a whole lot. Helps the channel grow, find new people, yada, yada, yada. You get the whole gist. We try to get every episode of the show between 200, 300, 400 or more thumbs up or likes. Last but never least, if you're considering buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, go ahead and give me a call. Shoot me a text. You can be anywhere in the United States as well, too. I just got to do things a little bit differently. But if you're in Michigan, go ahead and call me. I've been in the business for over 30 years. You want somebody who's going to work on your behest, work to protect you, make sure you're not being overcharged, gouged by different lenders, etc. I'll make sure you get taken care of. Also, if you don't know anything about properties, I'll walk you through them. Make sure you understand why they work the way they do and that you're not buying a lemon. So go ahead and give me a call. Shoot me a text. You see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. All right, with all that done and set out of the way, let's get the show a-rocking and a-rolling and a-going, and we'll start it off with 5 headlines now. 5 glorious headlines coming at your way, and thank you, Dan O'Damas, once again for making a real brief stop by today. He hasn't been here in a while. All right, Lions in unfamiliar territory, picking late in NFL draft and trying to keep talented roster intact. Story by Larry Lige of AP Sports Wire. And you know what? I think he's spot on because we get it. It's easier, at least it should mathematically be easier, to get better talent the earlier you draft in a draft. Give a lot of credit to Brad Holmes, the scouts, and everybody in between. Lions have done a phenomenal job during the 4 prior drafts that he's been here, selecting guys, developing guys, growing talent, maintaining the talent. But you know what? The Lions, because of the byproduct of their success, they're now going to be picking for the foreseeable future, it would appear, later and later in drafts. It also means you're going to have to rely a whole lot more on scouts being accurate with their assessments of the players that you are bringing in. I think we're also going to see some situations like we've seen the last few drafts, and Larry does point this out in his article, that you're going to see the Lions probably in middle, later round picks, gambling more. I guess maybe that's not a great way to word it, but they're going to be going for developmental players more. People that have the upside ability, but for whatever reason, they just haven't panned out during their college career. Maybe it was, they haven't been taught certain techniques. Maybe they're going to play them in different ways, different systems. A lot of different things will come into play. But this article, I thought Larry did a great job with it. Larry Lage, pointing out that the Lions are probably in a unique position for Lions fans, at least, where you're going to see them really have to invest in players. They're not going to get somebody more often than not in those middle, late round picks, maybe even you can say in the early picks, are coming and be studs right away. They're going to have to grow that talent. And I think that is going to be reflective, perhaps, in the final Lions Talk Live Mock Draft 3.0 coming up later today. All right, 12 leading candidates to be the Detroit Lions' first pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. Jeff Risden with Lions Wire with this one. I got to reach out to Risden and see if I can get him to come on the show. It's been, I don't know, it's probably been about 8 months since I've had him on, so reaching out to him and see what he has to say, but probably not this week with as busy as he's going to be with the draft. All right, but at any rate, let's go through this list of the 12 different people. Let me pull it up. Okay, 12 leading people. Number 1 person on here, and this is in no particular order. Keep that in mind. It's just, hey, how they put them out there. Prospects are listed in alphabetical order. So, hey, who knew? Kelvin Banks, offensive lineman from Texas. I think we could all see that happening. We all get Lions, love themselves some offensive line. They want guys to come in, have a certain sort of mantra on the offensive line. We also get Glasgow's getting older. Frank the Tanks, hey, he's fighting some injuries over the years, getting a little bit older, and so is Taylor Decker. Could one of those guys get targeted for replacement this year? Did the Lions begin it last year? Some could argue that is true. What we can say is, Banks is a potential person of interest. Donovan Aquaria, edge from Boston College. Yes, I killed that name, so please forgive me. I really don't personally think he's going to be in play a ton, just because, and I know you heard Kurt, the Hitman Steele, talk about this yesterday. I think the Lions are going to be shifting a little bit more to an amoeba-style defense, changing up based on formation, players, keep people off edge. At least I get some instance for that. Kurt Steele's very accurate. At this point, though, we don't know that. We're assuming that the Lions are going to still have a 4-3 base. If you look at Donovan, I think he's a little undersized to be an edge. Now, maybe the plan would be to bulk him up 10, 15, 20 pounds. 20 is a lot to ask of somebody. 10, I think, is achievable. But either way, he's just under 250 right now. He's 6'2". Could it happen? I think we all agree the Lions need to address the edge depth. Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle from Michigan. Hey, I don't probably have to spend a lot of time on this guy. Most of you guys know him exponentially. He's a massive human being. He's got a motor. He seems like a lion all the way through. When you hear him talk, watch him walk, you watch him play. Yeah, he's the whole shebang bang out there. Lions get him. I think we're all going to be happy. Speaking of people that fit a Lions culture, Derek Harmon, the former Michigan State guy, and now went to Oregon. We get it. He is. If Grant is an ideal fit, you're gonna have to say Harmon probably fits the same boat there. He's got explosiveness. He's got strength. He's got a lot of different things to like about him. And you know what? Both of them would be very welcome. Donovan Jackson, offensive lineman, Ohio State. Again, I probably need to speed through these a little bit here just because otherwise this is going to be a really long show. High end guard prospect, could play some tackle, sure, but I think the Lions, if they're going to go for an offensive lineman, it's probably going to be in a guard. This would make sense here. Nick Thornton, we talked about this guy a ton for the Lions. I think there's really strong possibilities he's there at 28, and if he is, Lions might just take him. If could the Lions move up a little bit, back ways, forward, whatever you want to say, to get him or somebody similar? Yes. Let's see. Josh Simmons, offensive tackle, Ohio State. Simmons would almost certainly be a difficult get for the Lions unless you're going to go get him. Moving on up. Detroit has, if Detroit did, he's probably going to be a difficult selection for Detroit to go up and get. But if he had not torn his patella tendon back in November, that unfortunately is part of the process. And where he'll now slide, who knows, man? We'll see. Mikhail Starks, we've all heard about him in the last week or two. A safety from Georgia coming on over. I like the kid. I think he can play in the slot. I think he can play basically the Sam in certain situations. I think he can play both safety spots. And we do know if the Lions stick to what they've done in recent years, you probably do see a lot more safety sets out there. So he would make some sense there. Shamir Stewart, he's been in on 30 visits. He's been in virtual visits. He's been at pro days. Shamir Stewart, the defensive lineman, what do you want to say, edge, interior guy. He can roam all around the defensive line depending on what you're trying to achieve there from Texas A&M. Lions really seem to like him. They have a lot of interest in him. If they go get him, I think we should all say we seen it coming. Mikal Williams, edge from Georgia, his only problem with him, with this guy, is just being available all the time. I think anybody who watches him play says, yeah, he's athletic, he's got a motor, he's got this, that, and the other thing. The problem is he's got to stay on the field. Tyler Williams, defensive tackle, Ohio State, sort of like a Grant, sort of like a Harmon, in that mode. I would say, he reminds me a lot of, if you guys remember, Snacks Harrison, who played for the Lions briefly, played with the Giants in, I think, Seattle after that. Very similar. If I had to pick between the three defensive tackles we've talked about already, I'd probably go with Grant, just because I guess I'm more familiar with him. But I think you're splitting hairs on all three of them. I think they all are pretty good and can play. Greg Zabel, interior offensive lineman, North Dakota State, probably the best reasonable guard to slide to the Lions at that part in the draft, assuming there's no trades. Zabel, he's got a whole lot of good stuff. He can pull, he can trap. You watch his hand placement, you watch his leverage responsibilities. He's got a lot of good stuff there. All right, spent way too long on that headline now, but you know what? Hey, you got some bonus time with me. All right, next to the 5 headlines now. Proposed Lions Jet deal adds 25-year-old former top 15 pick in Detroit to play guard. Story by Mike Morales, The Sporting News. I feel like we talked about this a week ago, but I figured I'd go and throw it in there. I'd give this about a 0% chance to actually go down, but I guess there's always a chance. Lions get guard Air Tucker, a 2025 fourth-round pick, and then the Jets would get a 2025 second-round pick. My only problem with it is this guy needs a new contract after this upcoming season. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's a great player, and that's also why I don't think it would happen. One, you're giving up, I think, significant draft capital. Two, now you're going to have to pay that guy a second contract deal. Lions already have a lot of guys we need to re-sign. I think you guys all know it. You've watched the show. You've watched other shows. You get it. Lions need to free up money, not spend some more money. It'd be one thing if you could say this guy was, man, just absolutely the greatest guard in the league, or, top 5 or something like that. I don't think he is, though. I think he's probably closer to number 18 to 22. And not that that's horrible, since every team has 2 guards. You're about the middle of the pack. I just don't think you're giving up that much draft capital and a big contract to a guy who's middle of the pack. I mean, that's just not my opinion, at least. There's still one more move the Lions should make before the NFL draft. Athlon supports John Vaccaro with this one. Johnny Vaccaro, love the name. It sounds like somebody who should be in the WWE, but here's what he wants. He wants the Lions to re-sign Zadarius Smith going into the draft. I get it, because if you're a team who doesn't get the the edge help you need in the draft, his price tag is probably going up. And that's basically what Vaccaro is saying here. Get them now while the prices are still probably down. In John's opinion, or Vaccario's opinion, after the draft, my team didn't get the guys we needed. We're going to pay now. That might push the price tag up. He also points out the closer you get to training camp, people get hurt in training camp, whatever. That may also push Zadarius Smith's price tag up. I personally believe, and I don't have any burning, burning whatever proof to this. I think the Lions and Zadarius Smith have already had some really deep conversations about him coming back to the team. I think, he's basically taking the summer off. He doesn't really need all the reps, all the grind, all the other stuff in training camp. Not at 30, whatever he is, 32, 33 years old. He's been there. He's done that. He's done a decade or more of it. I think he's just trying to have some fun, keep his body preserved. And if he does return to the Lions, just be that much fresher for the whole season. It's not just 1 or 2 games early in the year. The Lions are going to play, hopefully, deep into January and even February. So if you're thinking from that standpoint, keep some of the older vets a little bit fresher. All right, notes. Jameson Williams, not Lions only. Bold trade up attempt. Detroit Lions on SI story by Christian Boer. Yes, and in case you guys didn't know, the Lions did have a conversation with Brad Holmes, an interview or whatever the other day. Had the press conference, and Brad Holmes did reveal the Lions have tried to make a few bold trades during the last few NFL drafts. For whatever reason, it just didn't work out. We all know the trade with Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams. I think most of us would agree that's a big, bold trade. The move from, whatever it was, 30 up to 12 to get Jameson Williams, I think most would consider a bold trade. Brad Holmes did go on to talk about the Lions have tried to pull the trigger on a few other moves. He didn't go into specific details, which teams, which player they're trying to go get or whatever, but he does point out it takes 2 to tango. And with these comments, along with a couple of the other comments he made in this particular breakdown or press conference, I played that into the factors for the mock draft 3.0 that we'll get into momentarily here. I do think there's going to be a whole lot of teams trying to trade around in this year's draft. Again, I think the value for this draft, there's a lot of depth in a number of different positions, but I just don't think there's those home run guys. I don't think it's like most NFL drafts where you can say the top 10, top 15, those are clearly your best dudes. And then after that, it falls off. You get your second round, third round grades. I really think there are 4 to 5 home run dudes in this year's draft. And then after that, the difference between most of the rest of the guys in the first round and the second round, you could even argue early part of the third, not a whole lot of difference from a grading standpoint. It depends on what you're looking for, but I do think it comes into play. And I think Brad Holmes, based on this press conference, what he's saying here, I think he's telling us he's looking to make moves. It's just you got to get 2 people to work on it. And we'll talk about this more during the main topic today. I don't want to beat it up too much, but speaking of the main topic of the day, let's just go ahead and get over to it now and see what you guys have to say about the final Lions Talk Live Mock Draft 3.0. Are you going to be happy? Are you going to be sad? Are you going to be crying? Are you going to be cheering and celebrating with a Mountain Dew? Let me know once we're done with it. All right, so we'll go through this. We'll do it slow. I got to add a couple things to the screen. I did not have a lot of time to prep for this today. Sorry, guys. I just was trying to do so much stuff yesterday, getting some showings done, yada, 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 the whole shebang-a-bang. It probably isn't the best setup I've ever done, but you know what? I'm sure we'll all power through it and see what you guys have to say. All right, what do I want to put on first? I tell you what, I'm going to tell you this right off the bat. When we get to the draft, Lions are going to make 2 trades before they even make a draft pick. And, I see the screen's a little fuzzy there. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and take you through this and bring you up on the screen. I'm going to bring up the first round here. 1 second, please. And again, probably not the most prepared show ever, but we got to deal with it sometimes. All right, let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger for those watching on a phone or whatever. So I'm going to walk you through it. All right, Ward goes first overall. Carter second overall. Probably a little bit of surprise there, but if it was me drafting, Abdul Carter would be number 2. It's nothing against some of the other guys out there. I get a lot of mocks have Travis Hunter going to the Cleveland Browns. I just think, man, I'd rather take somebody who's a full-time 1-position player than 2-position player. All right, and I'll just let you guys kind of peruse the board here. So here's what went down. We got to pick 28. We got a trade offer from the Bengals. Bengals want to move up and get James Pierce Jr. You know what? I think a lot of us agree he is probably a top 10, top 15, whatever you want to say, talent. But you know what? I think there's just enough red flags on him where they didn't take him. Now, what do we talk about? One of the best parts about this draft is, the best parts, in my opinion, is how deep it is. So here it is. All right, Bengals give up pick 28 and pick, let's see, they get pick 28 and 102. Detroit receives pick 31, so you move back 3 spots, and pick 63. And yes, I did this a little probably not the correct way, so I had to block out who we picked. I didn't want to spoil it for you. Now, like I said, we're going to make 2 trades before we even make a draft pick. So why do we make a second one? When we traded down to pick 31, what we talked about all week on air, whatever you want to say, we talked about the fact that, hey, the strength of this draft is one simple thing. It's deep. It's deep, and everybody can see that there's not a big need or a big drop-off from one spot to the next spot. So what happens at pick 31? A lot of teams want what? They want a 5th-year option on teams. So we got a second trade offer. Why? Well, we talked about the New York Giants, We talked about what they did. And let me put this back on the screen. Let's go back to what they did at pick number 3, Travis Hunter. Hey, you got a wide receiver, you got a cornerback, somebody can fly all over the place. Well, what do you need if you don't have if you have a receiver? You need somebody to throw him the dang ball, right? Well, what happens here? New York Giants trade up and get Jackson Dart. Why? You want the 5th-year option on the kid. He does have some potential. He does have some escapability. You know, he's got a lot of good things about him, and you're probably going to need a year or so to develop him. So we all get it. They've got some veterans over there. They're going to play for a year, and then Dart probably just sits for a year, comes on in. All right, so walking through it, the Giants get pick 31 and pick 130. Detroit gets pick 34, and here's the big one, pick 65. So you're saying, all right, Dan, all right, we're moving, we're shaking. Hey, we're making some moves. We're the Detroit Lions. Well, what are we going to do with this draft? Are we ever going to draft a player? And that's where it all begins. So let's go ahead and bring it on the board. And yes, there's going to be some spoilers here. It happens. All right, so at pick 34, we talked about Kenneth Grant. We got Kenneth Grant. We got him at the number 34th overall pick. And there were a couple of options, to be fair. We went through it during the 5 headlines now. There were a couple different ways you could go for this if you were the Detroit Lions. There were a few defensive tackles, I think, very similar. I like Grant. I like a couple of the other guys. This is just simply the way the Lions went there. So they took him. Now, keeping on going down, I'm going to draw your eyes over to the third corner here. I'm moving the thing around here so you can see me a little bit more. At the number 60 pick, Detroit's pick, Tate Ratledge. If you guys don't know him, you probably want to spend some time over the next week checking him out. He's one of the most athletic and powerful offensive guards in the entire draft. Could he play some tackle? Sure. Yeah, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility, but he is a natural guard. He can move. He's got power. He can trap. He can pull. John Morton's system that we're all anticipating is going to be a more vertical threat downfield. You know what? You want somebody like that because you're going to probably have to block a second or two, maybe a second and a half longer than what you would have with Ben Johnson to get some of those deeper shots. And if you want to do some pulls and traps out and get to the edge with the running game, he's going to help out with that. Is he going to come and start right away? I'm not sure about that. Let somebody win that in training camp. Now you can say, Dan, well, that's all great. What do we do with that extra second-round pick that we picked up? We're going to get Jaden Higgins. And I could have went a couple different ways here. There were a couple similar receivers there. But if you don't know, Higgins, hey, 6'4", heck of a speed, heck of a vertical, the whole shebang-a-bang. We talk about a vertical offense with the Detroit Lions. You know what? Putting a 6'4" guy who can fly through the sky and outrun people on one sideline opposite Jameson Williams, is that really a bad situation for this offense? I think it's pretty dang good. But I can already hear the Duke crew typing away angrily. And you know what? Some of the Duke crew, you're probably looking at this mock draft and oh boy, I had this set up for you guys. Where is it? You're probably doing this. I don't like this mock draft so much. So, it's like a kick in the pants, right? Let me play for you again. Because we all want that edge. We want that guy, coming off the corner and getting after the quarterback. So despair not, my Duke crew brothers and sisters. In the third round, we're going to Ashton Gillett. Now, you're going to say, probably most of you guys, who? Well, let me bring him up for you. And I've watched some tape on this guy. He could have went a couple different ways this way. But if you watch him on tape, here's what I'll say. Go watch him before you really yell or scream about the selection. This guy plays with a motor, and he's athletic, and he's big. You want to talk about somebody who sets an edge. We all get it. Detroit Lions, that's probably priority number one for them if you're going to play defensive line, you have got to stop the run. What does he do? He stops the run. He does a great job, I feel, shedding blocks, getting through double teams, sometimes splitting double teams and getting in the backfield. He's athletic. He's powerful. He's got a motor. He needs to be coached up a little bit more. And not that when you watch him on tape, he's bad, but you can see where there's area for improvement. I really personally feel like he is a home run waiting to happen in the later middle part of the draft. When you're saying, I guess you're going to say this is the third round, so it's kind of the middle. But at any rate, he is an athlete who plays hard and can stop the run while getting to the quarterback. So, hey, I think most of you guys, if you watch him play a little bit, maybe that will get rid of a little bit of the anxiety building up in you. So going through that, hey, I tell you what, we're deep enough in the draft. Let's just go to the full review, and then we can go through it one at a time there. And hopefully not too many of you guys are too upset with the draft so far. But all right, let's just go to the full pick here, because we do have one more trade. Like I said, we're going to make 1, 2, 3. Well, here's the third trade. Miami Dolphins, let's see, they get pick 196, and Detroit's 2026 fourth round pick. Lions move up to 135. Kind of overpaid a little bit, but you know what? Hey, when you feel like the price is right, you go for it. Now you're gonna say, who did they take? Well, let's get on over there and find it, because you talk about the promise of that guy, the one we just had in. Boy, where I gotta go here? Boy, I'm losing my picks. I tell you what. Boy, I gotta find him out. There we go. Here we go. All right, Fahad Diggs. So, anyways, just like we talked about with his predecessor, athletic, big motor. And again, somebody who probably needs to be developed a little bit more to really pan out. But when you go ahead and look at it all, I think you're going to like it all, because, Ashton and Fahad, I think both of them are very similar. They're big-bodied dudes with motors that have athleticism, that have power, but they need to be coached up just a little bit more. Beyond that, hey, you got another offensive lineman at Dalton Cooper. This guy's very athletic. Again, he's got some areas that need to be addressed, but I think these are coachable areas. If you watch Cooper, his hand placement and his knee placement, his bend, it needs to be improved upon. You can see why he did okay in certain situations in college at Oklahoma, why he struggled in other situations. But I think if you're going to develop him, and, again, late round pick, 228, he's someone of interest. Now, Verdon, I'll say this. I think if you're looking for someone to come in and play special teams and eventually grow into a bigger role with the team, this is it. I think he can play some nickel back. He can play some safety, sort of like Iffy. He's 6'4". He's got some pretty dang good speed. He runs I don't have it in front of me. I want to say it was a 4.49, and he's got some leaping ability. So, again, I think you're seeing this kind of resonate throughout the entire draft, and I think you're going to see this in the foreseeable future with the Lions. In some of these middle round picks, you're going to have to go for guys with upside potential, but you're going to have to grow and develop them. They're not going to come in and be starters right away. I really like Ashton. I really like Diggs. I think while most are going to say, man, we need to go early in the draft and get edge, I think the Detroit Lions are in a spot where they just got to go with the best player available. And if somebody, what I did with pick 34 in the two trades, or I guess you say the 28th pick and the 31st pick, in those scenarios, I went with one simple thing. Somebody's willing to overpay a little bit to go up and get that fifth-year option or get that player they want. And because they're overpaying, Detroit's winning. Could there be a scenario? I personally hope the Lions trade up into around 15 to 18, get a very targeted player of interest. But just me, myself, and I think this is the more likely scenario for Brad Holmes, because, it's not Dan Thornton doing the draft. It's Brad Holmes doing the draft. And when you look across the board, Lions do get a lot of good help, in my opinion. But what do you say, Duke Crew? You look at this thing. Are you happy? Are you sad? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Let's get over to you guys and see what you have to say. I think the Lions offense, if this goes down, you've addressed the offensive line last year and this year. You should be growing and developing these guys. It's probably good for the next few years. Wide receiver room, that's a scary 4 wide receivers to come at you. And who knows? I guess you got to throw in Khalif Raymond too. So that's overall just a scary wide receiver room for everybody to have to defend. As far as the defensive line, hey, you got the heir apparent for DJ Reader. You got two guys with just a ton of upside, in my opinion, to go after the edge. And while I know Pierce is going to be talking about, man, I don't want Davenport to start. Davenport might start, regardless of whoever we draft. He might start. Who knows? Josh Pascal might start. Alquin Muhammad might start. Who knows who starts over there? But I like the fact both these guys stop the run, get to the quarterback, and have upside potential. So one last time, I'll put it on the screen just for those maybe who didn't see it earlier. Here's the full final mock draft for the Detroit Lions. Yes, there were 3 trades made, 2 made before we even made a pick. I wouldn't be sad about this because I think all these guys have some real promise and upside, but it doesn't matter what I think. What do you guys think? Let's go to you guys right now and see what you say as I scroll to the top of the screen. Almost there. All right, here we go. JC, morning all. Back at you. Big Daz, good morning. Coach Dan and the Duke crew. And same to you. Good to see you, man. Feels like it's been a few days. Berg time. Good morning, Dan the man. Draft day is almost here. Let's go, Lions. Exclamation points. Get the help needed. Woo! I agree. And you look at this draft, if each of these guys made it, I could see it happening, which obviously means you're cutting some veteran players to get down to the 53-man roster, but you're probably freeing up some cap in doing so. All right, Berg time. Good morning, JDC, the man, the myth, the legend, 100% with exclamation points. JDC, morning at you, Berg. Woo! And back at you, Clark. Brad did say, get your popcorn ready. Let's trade away. And I think he's going to trade away, or at least try to. JDC, tick, 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 almost there. Big Eddie, greetings, salutations. If I am correct, during his 4 drafts with Detroit, Holmes has made 10 to 14 total trades. I can see him pulling the trigger a few times in this draft. Yeah, me too, man. Could he trade up? Absolutely. And I could see this year, unlike many other years, where the cost to trade up is probably less than most of us would say, oh, that would never happen. That would never happen. And again, because there's such parity throughout most of the draft picks in the first and second round. That being said, the logic I used with these trades is that people wanted to go up and overpay a little bit to get that 5th-year option on a targeted player. I think we all get the Lions move from, whatever it was, wherever I had it in the draft, from the second trade. That's because the Jets were willing to overpay a little bit to get the 5th-year option on Jackson Dart. Big Daz, I hope the 3 trades are spectacular and sets everybody on their ear. Exclamation points. Big surprising, nobody sees coming trades. Oh, yeah. Well, let me know your thoughts, Big Daz. Berg time. Oh, Brad is cooking. Exclamation points. He's definitely up to something big. I feel it. Super Bowl or bust. Yeah, and, everything I just threw out there, wouldn't it be something if he trades this year's first, next year's first, and third round pick to move up to number 4 to get Abdul Carter? I think Lions fans everywhere would just say the draft's done. Let's see. Trey, what's up, everybody? Question mark. So are we moving up or down is really my only question. I've never had a doubt. We aren't staying at 28. I think most people would agree with you, Trey, that, the chance of us remaining at 28, probably slim. Hookadoo, rise and shine, Duke crew. Oh, yeah. Top of the morning, Bird time. Grit. Oh, you got to have grit to be a Duke crew member. Hey, more. Good morning, Coach Dan, the Duke crew. What a team. What a podcast. What a time. Be a Lions fan. Woo! And thank you for that. Good morning to you. Server. Good morning, Coach everyone. And same to you. Dale, hello, Duke crew. Coach, how is Dan O'Damas feeling about the draft? Well, now you know, at least a little bit. Talk about foretelling of the future there, Dale. Bird time. Good morning, brother Hookadoo. Go Lions. And back at you, Brent. Good morning, Dan and Duke crew. 3 trades by Brad. Wouldn't surprise me. Is it draft day yet? Question mark. I'm ready. I think we're all ready, man. And I know some of you guys have reached out and asked me to do a broadcast of it. I don't know, man. It's just, there's so much downtime between picks, and it's such a long day. I think I'll let other people do it. But, hey, I'm sure there's probably 20 different channels that will host a draft thing. Bird time. Happy Easter to everyone in the chat, and back at you, my friend. Hopefully you're all going to have a great holiday weekend or Easter weekend, whatever you want to call it. Just greetings and salutations. Duke, the draft has mostly been the highlight for all Lions fans during our lives. That is true. Thankfully, not anymore, but it still feels like Christmas. 100%. We're all waiting to see what we can unwrap, what Brad Holmes is going to unwrap for us under the tree. Aaron, good morning, Coach and Duke crew. Same to you. Dale, I think Green and Pierce are legit options after listening to Holmes earlier in the week. I mean, I get why so many fans, or podcasters or national media say they're not options for us, but I do believe Brad Holmes believes in one thing: draft the best players available. don't force a pick. Don't try to force the square into the round hole or whatever the analogy is. Pierce or Green, if they happen to follow us, or Campbell, or you can probably go, Starks, or, you get it. There's a lot of different options. The best guys, if they come to us, we're probably happy. Morning, Brent DeWitt. Does Brad Holmes have his Betty Crocker cookbook out? Probably, because he's cooking up a masterpiece, let's hope. Big Daz, I hope he makes a move for a defense end. We saw what having two great rushers can do for a defense. I'm sure he will stick to best player available. Me too, man. Me too. And he did mention, to be fair, the team might not think that they need as much help as edge as perhaps some of the rest of us. Pat, morning all. Really hope we move up to grab one of the top edges. I doubt Brand will do that, though. We'll see, man. I mean, I think he's keeping everybody guessing, which is part of his job. Drake, offensive line with the first pick, edge second, defensive tackle third. Who knows after that? Yeah, probably those will all be areas of interest. Whether or not we'll go in that order, I have no idea, man. Brett, morning, Hookadoo. Back at you. Big Daz, you. Well, there you go. Stephanie, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. Walking into the gym and listening in. Have a great morning, all. And back at you. Have a great workout. France, do we think Grant from U of M will fall to us at 28th? I like the way he plays. Could be a natural fit. I do think there's some potential he'll be there, but been wrong before. Wouldn't be something if Graham was there. Third time. Same here, Stephanie. Best time to get to the gym. No punks this early. Yes, indeed. Yeah, I when I go, typically it's early in the morning, but not always. Man Bear, good morning, and back at you. Hopefully you're having a good morning. Hookadoo, morning, Stephanie. Have a great workout. There you go. So Simone, good morning, Bergs, Bear, Hookie. There you go. Let's see, Big Daz. I've been here watching you and the crew just a little later in the day. Still the best podcast out there with your mighty leader, Coach Dan. Woo! Oh, well, thanks for that, my friend. Hey, nothing wrong. You can always watch it on, replay. But just good to have you here no matter what, man. Berg time, good morning, Sosimo. Hookadoo, top of the morning, Sosimo, go Lions. Man Bear, I wouldn't put anything past Brad Holmes. Heck, he may do more than 3. He might, man. He has, I don't remember it off the top of my noggin, but I want to say the number is 12. He's made 12 trades in 4 drafts. I mean, that means you're pretty dang active. Voltron, I need to work out. Jump on into the gym or wherever you want. I mean, you don't have to go to the gym to work out. Sosimo, Susan, what do you got? Good morning, all. Any more clues where the team will go in the first round? I don't think so. I still think at the end of the day, it's best player available. They may have a pretty high grade on 1 or 2 people that if they got to move up a little bit to get, maybe. Let's see. Berg time, morning, Voltron. 5 fingers ready. Any chance we don't select an edge in the first 2 rounds? I do think there is some potential because if you really feel like the guy that's available at your pick isn't worth that pick, are you going to force that? I don't think Brad Holmes does. Quentin, greetings, salutations, y'all. Brad did say he likes our ends. He did say that, yes. Miles Margaret, greetings, salutations, coach and crew. Just watched a short history of the old Dave Wishbone offense. Fun stuff. Yeah, and some teams, especially at the high school level, not so much in the college level, but some teams still do run it. Elbow, Bowie, what do you got? Good morning, good Saturday morning, Dude Crew. Predicting a nutritious position in an Iron Storm would be easier. There you go, Iron Storm, the neutrons position. There you go, I'll go with that. Man, I messed that up. Miles Marker, Grit morning, Hookadoo, Brent, France, Big Daz. There you go. Morning, everybody. Hookadoo, Susan Scott, how a dart at a dartboard. I hope he hits on an edge. I think they will. I think they're going to get somebody they believe will help out. Miles Meyer, Daz laughing out loud. Throw. All right, we'll throw it too. Brent, morning. David, get the draft here already, laughing out loud. Yeah, I think a lot of people are over the jibber jabber, the pre-draft talk, all that stuff. They're ready for the draft to be here. Miles Meyer, laughing out loud. Bo, I got you. The Trim Raver, good morning, coach and Duke Crew. Woo, back at you. Miles Meyer. Stupid phone, stupid fingers, wrong emoji. It happens, man. Hookadoo, morning, Miles Margaret. Did you, Dad, have a great birthday? Topping on the cake of grit. We'll find out. Detroit D, sanitation, everyone. Back at you, D. Glad to have you. Bo, all right. Miles Margaret, he did. Hookie, thanks. Let's see. Working the minute. Dano, good morning. Back at you. Hopefully you had a great morning. Trina and Christina Conway, good morning. To everyone from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Woo! And who doesn't love Kalamazoo? The city, man, is a great place to be. Third time, Daniel Damas appearance. It has been a minute, hasn't it? Dale, there's Daniel Damas. Woo! You speak into, they say if you say Ric Flair into the mirror 3 times, Ric Flair appears. It might be true with Dan O'Damas too. Bo, the Shrek, there you go. The Sheik, there you go. Robert, woo! Yeah, I didn't have the other glasses available for Dan O'Damas, so I had to make do with what we got. Coach Rock, good morning, Duke Crew, and to the let the trades begin. Let them begin. Server, Coach, you better pick me a defensive tackle, an edge, and a halfback. Possibly Quez Hunter. Yeah, I like him. He's not bad. Southwest, hit them likes. If you guys could, hit the likes, hit the subscribes, hit everything. Southwest, greetings, salutations, Duke Crew. Woo! Go Lions, back at you. Hopefully it's a phenomenal start to your weekend. Although I guess yesterday would have started. But anyways, you get what I'm saying. Bo, DTs, we'll find out. Let's see, Thomas, good morning. Dan, go Lions. I like the way you're thinking. JDC, Dre Forge says Dan O'Damas rocks. And hey, he rolled on out of here. Coach Rock, they might as well take a chance on Lucky Tassi in the later rounds. Watched him, and at 18, he had a lot of baby fat, but at 21, he turned into muscle and can run and try at edge. Nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. Yeah, I know who you're talking about there. Yeah, he has firmed up, I guess you could say. Brent Auburn, running back, Jarquez Hunter is going to be a steal for some team. Exclamation point. He's the dog. Yes, he is. Silver, Coach. I took a good look at that safety. Nick, well, I'm going to kill the last name. Goodness, I was impressed, really impressed. He's 6'3", but looks even bigger, 220 pounds, and literally runs like a train. Football speed. He does, man. Yeah, and I'm not going to even try the last name. I know I'll murder it, but I think the Lions will have some real good options in the middle of later rounds if they want to add a safety. So I think you're onto something there, Silver. And he runs a 4.3. Yes, he does. Domber, Jalen Walker, I do like him. Miles Park, good morning. Rocky, still lagging, no internet yet, and draft coming soon. Exclamation point. Dang, hopefully they get it fixed for you, Miles Marker. I know you've been going through it for, feels like a month now. Leonard, great salutations all. I'll be at Ford Field for the draft party. I hope Tom trades up to see. We'll find out. I know the Sarge, Tony Libretto, his family will be there. I think a lot of our neighbors will be there too. The Trim Reaper, hit all the buttons. There you go. Hit them buttons. Don Burr, go get Jalen Walker. He's a Lion. Let's see if they do. Phil, greetings and salutations. Same to you. Miles Marker, NDSU, go Bison. There you go. Don, we passed on one Jalen from Georgia. Don't pass on another. Exclamation point. Go get Jalen Walker. We'll see if they do. Trim Reaper, WrestleMania begins today. Woo! Go enjoy it. I know a lot of people. I know Hutch Jr. is all about it and going to be watching it. Pat and Brad, we trust. You got to trust him, man. He hasn't done us dirty yet. JK, the new Indiana Jones game is too good, and I think Brad adopts a Pip also. Hey, I've heard good things about it. I've seen some of the videos for it. I haven't played it, and probably be a while before I do. Frank Ting, what up, Duke Crew, East Side? Woo! Go Lions. Thank you for that. JK, by the way, when you're done playing it, let me know your overall thoughts. I'd be interested. Frank Tank, skip Green Bay, Minnesota, Bears, Philly, go Lions. Skip them all, get to the top. Trim Reaper, I want to get that Indiana Jones game myself. I think a lot of people do, man. I loved Indiana Jones, at least the first couple movies. The last two, I was kind of not so jumping up and down about. But Indiana Jones, man, that thing's always going to play in my head, that music, and, he's a special place. How about that? Server, Brett, glad to hear you like Hunter. There you go. Frank Tank, happy Easter to all, and same to everybody in the Duke Crew. Go enjoy it. Trim Reaper, happy Easter, Duke Crew. JK, happy Blake to all. I'll go with that. Let's see, happy eggs maybe. Rocky, Coach Rock, thought I saw the Eagles had control of someone's pick up to around 25 or 26. We'll find out. I'm not aware of that. JDC, the NFL draft. Yes, it's almost here. Almost here. Sir, Kenneth Grant. Hex, yes, indeed. Trim Reaper. Grant is a good pick in your opinion. Higgins, we'll find out. Hey, him opposite. Oof. I just think that Lions offense, how would you defend it? Who knows, man? About like it so far. There you go. Trim Reaper. If we get Higgins, oh my gosh, yes. And, if he doesn't go there, let's just say for sake of discussion, I know we've talked about him before on the show, but Dante Thornton, I think while he's not Higgins, he could become something on that opposite sideline. You probably get him more in the fourth round versus the late second round, but there's some options there. I think I talked about that when I was doing the selection with you guys. Sir, I like the O-line pick. We are really talking so far. Trenches, yes, build up those trenches, which is I think a very Brad Holmes thing. You see the similarity between the Detroit Lions and Philadelphia Eagles in that respect. Trim Reaper, we'll be unstoppable offensively. I would agree with that. Dale, pretty good mock draft coach. Thanks for that, man. Silver, A+. for the first two picks. I was all for it. Tay May, all good. Good morning, Duke Crew. Good to see you, my friend. Hopefully you're having a good start to your weekend. Trim Reaper, Gillette, the closest I can get. There you go. Server. The only thing, Grant at 34 seems really impossible, but I like it. And the one thing I would say, Silver Surfer, in most of the mocks I've done, he's there late first round, early second. But keep in mind, if he is selected, say, towards the end of the first round or whatever, that means another defensive tackle has fallen to us. There were a couple other options there, and I really think there's some similar grades. I went with Grant. I think I said it to you guys early, just because the familiarity. I like the other guys. I like what I see on him. Just because I know him a little bit more, I went with him. All right, let's see. JDC, I say draft the Chinese guy in the white while getting kicked. Yeah, if he can handle all that, man, he's doing okay. Kenneth, good morning and great salutations, Coach Dan and the Duke Crew. Exclamation point, go Lions, 14-3, Super Bowl bound. Woo! I like the way you're thinking. Hopefully you got a good one there. Server, yeah, Gooley, yeah, I'm gonna kill it. So, anyways, Kevin, that's a pretty solid draft haul. I like Fadal Diggs. Yeah, me too, man. Underrated prospect. I agree with you 100% there, Kevin. When I watched him amongst other guys out there, I just look for guys that there's a reason why they're down there. But I see upside potential because what you can't teach with them. I mean, that's what I should just say. I'd be good with this. Me too, man. Me too. Servers of the receiver is fine. We also need but not to resign JMO, the good kid. I'd be okay with us just keeping him. I just think for the Lions, let's assume we keep Jameson Williams. You've got three good young receivers, although every year they do get older. Tim Patrick, I think this is probably his final year here, and you've solved that riddle. Maybe even you could say Khalif Raymond might be his final season here. Gordon, I like. Me too, man. Me too, and good morning. Michael, when has Brad Holmes moved out of the first round? I don't think he has yet in his time here, if I'm not mistaken. But, again, we also haven't picked 28th before in his time here. So the only thing I did was looking at the draft board and the values for the vast majority of players. There's a lot of similarity there. Because some teams needed to move up and get a fifth-year option on a quarterback or a player of interest, the Lions were the winners of it because of it. No, Tom Mitch, not bad. Wish we could have gotten a O-lineman and a cornerback somewhere. Don't want to see our new Vildor in Rockyasin. All right. We did get an offensive lineman, Motown Mitch. We did get one in the second round, but we did not get a cornerback. Michael, we don't draft Georgia Ohio State players. Sorry about that. Sir, I meant to say that the receiver will not be drafted to let James. Oh, yeah, I got you, man. Let's see, William Davenport injury was from the Cardinals player that, hurting him on purpose. I agree with that. I agree. And thankfully it was an upper body versus lower body. All right, Kevin, Motown Mitch, Ratledge in the late second round. Very good offensive lineman for Georgia. I'll go with that. Michael, terrible. I can't make everybody happy. Sorry about that, man. Motown Mitch did get that guard. That's right. Yes, and correct. Server, Coach, where's my? Yeah, sorry, I didn't get one, man. Sorry, I tried to find one. Maybe they could have swapped one out in the later rounds, but just couldn't get everything, man. Trim Reaper, my phone died, but good draft, Daniel Damas. There we go. And hey, hopefully you got the phone charged, my friend. Earl, can't wait for the draft day. Go Lions. Me too, man. I think we're all chomping at the bit for it. Server, I like the whole draft. After all, I'd be happy with that. Me too. I would be. ZD, greetings, salutations. Strand, Jared Allen, TJ Watt, Max Crosby. Only TJ was first round, pick 30. Let Brad cook. And you're spot on with that. And what do we do with this draft? We got the guys, the edges in basically the third and fourth round. Well, I'm doing the math in my head, but that sounds right. But there is your full draft. And again, hopefully you guys are happy with it and not going over to your neighbor and testing out their fortitude. All right. So, I had a little fun with that clip, by the way. Brian, good morning. Oh, who thinks Hooker is traded? It's possible for sure. I just went with this. That I just assumed with this draft that we didn't trade him. This is why the Lions didn't add another quarterback in the draft. Server, Holmes and Campbell can, and I think will surprise on draft day. I concur with that. T-Bones, I like your mock, but Brad Holmes definitely has a move-up target or two. I agree with that. I also think about a possible trade at 40th with the Saints for Hooker straight up. Wouldn't that be something if that went down? Byron Thomas, good morning. Duke Crew, it seems like it's taking forever for the draft. I'm ready. I think we're all chomping at the bit for it, man. You're not alone with that. We're all ready to actually see the results. Jim, we have 7 picks. Trade them for 3 starters. I think that's could be what they do. JDC, Puff, woo, coffee, and Lions Talk Live. Good way to start your day. Roger, if I were Brad, I'd trade our last half of our picks and next year's second round, move up to number 2 with the Browns and take Abdul Carter. Man, if we could do that, that would be a scary defensive line. You'd be giving up a lot, but hopefully it would be a great return on investment. Amy, good morning. Dan and Duke Crew, exclamation points. That draft is right around the corner. Yes, it is. Quite literally. Kurt Steele, what up, though, Duke Crew? What's up, man of Steel? How you doing? JDC, Trade for Rocks, Andy Rose. Dale, Kurt, what's shaking, brother? We'll find out. Silver Surfer draft day used to be, for us old Lions fans, the day we picked up so many low-level players, leaving some of the best. And when they hit on great players, their Super Bowl dreams come to an immediate halt. All right. Let's see. Kurt, Dale out running errands. Enjoy the errands, my friend. Dale, good idea, Kurt. Get the errands done early when you can. Agreed. Coach Rock, Miles Ware, sure hope everything gets up to snuff for you this week before the draft. And man, did it rain overnight? We got some rain here too as well. Silver Sir, Pascal often injured. Davenport almost always injured. Levi with a fused spine. Wingo got injured. Lions need edge, mind you. Another good point about Zaboom. He stays on the field. Yes, he does. And I do think my guess is they've already kind of had some deep conversations about him returning. Trim Raver, Churdy isn't an age. It is a destination, my friend. Man Barrett, you are doing a show on Easter. I'll probably have one tomorrow morning for sure. And then, just get out for family lunch and all that stuff too. Let's see. Gary Green and Sanitation Duke Crew, 14-3 this year. Let's make it happen. Phil, whomever the Packers want, we should get him first. Hey, wouldn't that be funny if Brad Holmes does it? Another draft. He's done it quite often. Miles Murray, it sure did pour Rocky. There you go. Kerry Harmon, Ivy Stewart, and resign Zadarius Smith. We'll go with that. Look, it's raining like cats and dogs right now with thunder and lightning in Toledo right now. Stay safe, my friend. Phil, can I replace the popcorn with mixed nuts? Absolutely, my friend. And a delicious Mountain Dew? Well, I'd expect nothing less, my friend. Trim Reaper, have a great day, Coach and Duke Crew. Woo! Same to you, my friend. Let's see, Miles Bar, stay safe. Stay careful, Hookadoo. Brian, happy Easter, everyone. Everyone be safe if traveling. Agreed. JDC, happy trails, go Lions victory. Coach Rock, hope they make video of Detroit's war room this year. Love the reactions on the picks. I suspect they will, because if they're just all waiting for something to put on TV. I don't know. Brad Holmes jumping up and down, slamming his fist on the table, cheering. Brad Holmes, chest bumping people. Dan Campbell, maybe body slamming someone in a respectful way, in a good way. Brian, return of the Z Force. I think so. Bo, happy trails, Duke Crew. Have a good Easter. See you next time. We'll see you then. All right, guys, I'll go ahead and get on here, get you guys ready for the rest of your day. If there is breaking news today, I'll get it over to you as soon as possible. Otherwise, if you would be so kind before checking out, hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button, hit all the buttons. Hey, be a good human being. Do something kind for someone you don't know. Don't go running up with a stranger and doing this. And you know what? If you can avoid doing that, you're probably off to a good start. All right, take care. Enjoy the rest of the day. We'll see you guys all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.
Happy trails to you until we meet again.